tried to mark the football. Didn't drag it in.
Well, there you go. There's the bounce just outside the 50. Gardner. Hayes collides with Blair. Blair goes after that footy, wins it 55 metres out, hooks it around the corner. Body to body down there. Working in front was Beams. Close to the boundary line, Didak. Kept it in, but only for Graham. Oh, terrific. And he landed rather awkwardly, or stepped rather awkwardly, Rebolt. Seems to be fine, gets to his feet, charges away, slips it to Hayes. Hayes to Rebolt. Kicks with the left boot. Peake comes up from behind. His man fell over, that was sure. And he did very well, Peake, to claim it on the second try.
Move it on.
So Peake, 60 metres out, on the line of the square, gets onto this one. Right to the goal face, punched away from behind by Maxwell, roving the pack, side bottom. He's been very good.
Kicks it well outside the 50, free kick against Goddard.
Gee, they got back well then, Collingwood. Yeah. Peake marked the ball, but there was still more Collingwood jumpers in their defensive 50. Made him kick long.
And one of the reasons, Lee, was that Revolt had to take the mark at half-back and couldn't get back to the goal square. Their number one weapon wasn't there where they would love him to be. 0 for 2 of them.
And on that one, when Peake had the shot for goal, he actually had Brendan Goddard almost on the set play, wheeling around, who probably would have gone the distance from 55.
You probably almost got to look to someone on the, the 45 metres on a bit of an angle just to actually get a set shot within distance.
So Gardner Jolly, side bottom, held up by Hayes. Jolly searching for it. Well done, Jolly. And then Shaw squeezes forward. Good hip and shoulder by Dawson. So Dempster, Gilbert, a natural left footer. Dangerous kick. Goddard made a contest, but Collingwood get the ball. And then Johnson to Wellingham. Is that 50?
Beams.
1 metre back.
So Wellingham doesn't go very far back and then floats it to the goals. Cloak's outnumbered.
Been a real positive for St Kilda. I reckon the St Kilda key defenders in Fisher, Gilbert and Dawson are all standing up in the one-on-one contest. Turnovers hurting them at the moment, bringing the ball back into very dangerous parts of the ground.
Feel like they're just hanging on again now, the Saints, don't you?
Not sure what distracted Wellingham there. He wasn't paying attention. Beams was about 30 metres in the clear. 30 metres out from goal. Wilt to himself, drives to the outer side. Up goes Reid, much improved player, almost a mark to O'Brien. Came hard, Thomas, clever, not once but twice. Sorry, Bruce. Hand passes to O'Brien, comes back towards Reid. Reid's kick was smothered, close to the boundary line, spills to Thomas. Thomas goes along the boundary and finds Dawes.
It's one of those days, there's just so many bodies around the stoppages. It's a kick forward day. You don't have to over-create and create the turnover. There's equal numbers forward of the footy. Don't be afraid just to kick it out of the congestion 40 metres your way. It's one of those games today.
When you shake it out, a lot of finals are, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
A lot of stuff goes out the window. Easy to play the game on the whiteboard. Bit more difficult out in the middle. Dawes across the face of goal. Gardner goes up and concedes another. They forced or rushed a few. 42 plays, 26. Collingwood on top, approaching half-time in the grand final.
And just to build on that point, Lee, I think the third man up and those ones where you can actually get the ball out of the congested situation into some flow-on becomes really important, just like a kick out of a stoppage.
So Del Santo's short. Again, Collingwood taking their shots from the 50 as they did there. The points are adding up. They're 6-6 now. They were 5-2 earlier.
But they're all from difficult situations. St Kilda are really controlling their point-blank area.
So Kaczynski got into Reid's back a bit. Brown took a good mark. Back to the other Brown. This is Nathan. High left footer to full forward. Pendlebury read it very well. Davis toe pokes it out. Side bottom brought down by Del Santo. Or was a ball brought down?
Thanks, guys. Let him up.
What Collingwood need here is whether it's a third man up or someone to actually break it away, get a bit of a burst, a bit of a blitz out of the forward stoppage.
So some work being done there. Saints need that next goal. Del Santo a clearance. The sun's shining its brightest right now. One captain beats the other for that ball. Maxwell long and hard to fall forward, and then Fisher, the third man up, Dawes anchored a little.
What is interesting, when they've been under pressure, the St Kilda big defenders, they've actually been third man up and punching. Sometimes you've got to be third man up. If you've got the hands at the footy market, then all of a sudden the pressure is making them spoil in those situations.
Gardner falls down. Jolly goes over the top. Brown deep in the pocket. Gets boot to ball. Going back. Dempster, is that holding it? He had a long time. Peake did well. Gave it to Goddard. Clears the zone. Johnson knocks it down. Harry lines up. Harry O'Brien heads for goal. And he's got it. The cult figure stretches the lead.
That was a little bit of the right play at the right time. He got drawn upfield out of halfback O'Brien, but we know there he tends to be Collingwood's long-range kicker. If the Collingwood players can give him the ball around the 50-metre mark, he can kick long and straight. And gee, there is just so much, so hard to get an effective disposal because of the pressure. Time and space. He can do that.
Just a quick here from Goddard. Obviously, you want the ball onto the boundary side, but it is a weight of numbers. That's 18-3 inside 50s now this quarter for Collingwood for 3 goals to 1. So the pressure's really starting to mount on St Kilda.
It's the big margin in the match with 22 points. Swan a third clearance in about 10 minutes. Blake did pretty well. Jones soccers off the ground. Blair and Gilbert. Blair still fighting hard. Peake's toe poke, maybe to Collingwood's advantage. Pendlebury, Montagna, down low ball, forcing forward. He plays the percentages ball, doesn't he? That's a good result.
And just on that inside 50 step, it's uncharted territory for St Kilda to concede so many in a quarter. As we said, up to 18. They only average about 11 a quarter, the stingiest in the league. Really under the pump at the moment.
Well, you feel the moment's arrived for St Kilda. If they want to be right in this grand final, they need a strong finish to this first half. Didac, Blair. Well done, Dal Santo to Hayes. Then Hayes and a kick and hope into the centre. Little push, well done, Schneider. Then Schneider to Kazitsky. Now there's an open forward line. There's no one in front of him. Revolt is charging back. And Graham as well. He goes to Revolt, but he went the wrong way for a moment, Nick. Then Fisher, he knew the tackle was coming. Revolt roving it for a moment. Back to Blake. Blake can't get a handle. Davis gets rid of him. And Bale, they struggle again. Two blokes that played in grand finals and didn't get a kick together. Davis in 02 and Blake last year.
You're hardly a promoter, Bruce.
Sorry about that. Down to you two.
Well, Wellingham's gone off the ground. He's been doing a good job on Lenny Hayes, so he's got a bit of a breather now, Hayes.
Out of bounds.
One of the many things that Collingwood have done really well is every time Nick Revolt's gone towards the ball in the contest, whether it's on the ground or in the air, they've taken him to ground and really put some physical pressure onto him.
And I think the ball got here because Hayes was just prepared to kick it forward off halfback.
Leon Davis takes his seat. Not having a good day. Jolly. Hayes knocked away by Pendlebury. What a game he's played. So too this man. Swan storms away. Side bottom has been very good. Leads back in the race. Went to ground. Who's got the recovery? Side bottom. Dawson arrives like the cavalry. Still side bottom battles after the football. Oh, well done. Side bottom. As the name suggests, nothing is straightforward.
What a great contest this is. It's a really good battle. Both players hit the deck. They both bounce up. Zach Dawson, the third play, and that is what grand finals is all about.
Terrific stuff. McCaffrey couldn't quite.
Come on, knock it out.
I reckon Stevie Baker thought then, Ross Lyons picked me, I've got to do something.
I reckon when he fell over, he thought, oh, I'm gone now. But
Yes,
he got
no
up
doubt.
quick enough to still prevent a side bottom getting from goal side.
So Pendlebury keeping Revolt away from the contest. Blake, Montagna, it'll bounce just in.
Cue me, Bruce.
Centimetre perfect.
Hang on, Bruce.
Sorry, that's your line. Just how do you actually say it? Say it one more time for me.
Special.
So Jolly. Revolt doing a bit of ruck work and winning it. Montagna couldn't get the kick. Blair's a hard man to bring down. Graham held up by Johnson and Didac. And then Revolt lets it fall out of his hands. I feel like Revolt decided, OK, we've got to stop them kicking another goal. I'm going to go down and impose.
That's all he's going to do, because if St Kilda get it forward from here, Collingwood have just got the extra brick wall across halfback.
122 points. Blake grabbed by Ball. As it turns out, he took it out of the ruck, so Ball gets the free kick. The two mates, Revolt standing the mark, Ball kicking inside the forward 50. Cloak juggles it 25 metres out, directly in front, and this could be a knee trembler.
You wonder how that matchup came. He was against Peake. I mean, he's always going to outreach Peake. Just somehow or other, Peake was covering for his Collingwood defensive opponent, but he's not going to be able to stop Cloak overhead.
How big is this kick? Travis Cloak. They're all big, but gee, the margin currently at 22 points. The game's largest lead. This to put it out to 28. Less than a minute out from half-time. Travis Cloak kicks. Oh dear.
Well, it's a big talking point. It always is. There was one moment where the pick wasn't tall enough, was he? with Cloak, he was completely outsized, wasn't he?
It was a big shot, wasn't it? 20 metres out straight in front for a 28-point lead.
And you think of Cam Mooney and other blokes. I mean, there's been a lot of those in big grand finals, but Collingwood at the moment with a pretty healthy lead. Maxwell belting back. St Kilda certainly on the back foot, retreating for the moment, just hanging on. Eddie kicks it as hard as he can to a contest. Milnes had little impact, kicked an early goal, balled it brilliantly to Maxwell. And then Maxwell floats it back into those tall forwards. Dawes split the pack. Cloak. Well,
oh no.
It's the nightmare, isn't it? They're in front, they've got a good lead.
Yeah, they're just dominating, aren't they, Collingwood? I mean, again, it was a 3 St Kilda defenders against 2 Collingwood forwards, but the third player is not impacting the game. They might be spoiling, but they're just not able to use that number to give the extra rebound.
Well, we've seen it before. I mean, there are days when you figure Travis Cloak could get a lucrative contract for saying he doesn't kick with a particular boot. There's the siren for half-time, as if on cue. Baker finishes with the football. Collingwood finish with the... Down on the boundary now, Tim Watson and Matthew Richardson. Tim, any news on Alan Didak? He finished out the term okay, but he had a heavy collision with Zach Dawson.
He did, Dennis, and he really got shaken up there at one stage during that second quarter. I want to show you some vision. Here it is. He goes for the ball here, just one hand reaches out. He gets cleaned up by Dawson, and then they sense they've got a wounded Pye under there, and the St Kilda players piled in on top of him. After that, he was very quiet in that second quarter. Didak only had about one touch in that second quarter. Also, Wellingham went off the ground with a bit of an injury. He's come back on, but he was important in that second quarter because he was keeping Hayes in.